Welcome to the check-in on H&C, the show where we find out how people are coping during the lockdown and share advice and tips on how to get through it. In this show, we can't send our camera crews out at the moment, but that has not stopped me getting in touch. Coming up on tonight's show, we chat to commentator, presenter and H&C favourite Stephen Wilde while he's out in Florida. We also talk to supergroom Alan Davies to find out about his new show for Horse and Country and how Carl and Charlotte are getting on at Team Hester. So now I'm going to catch up with Stephen Wilde, who is producer, commentator, well-known face and especially voice for Horse and Country TV fans. Stephen is in Wellington in Florida. So Stephen, are you there?
I'm here, Jenny. Great to see you.
Technology works. I'm always very excited by that. How are you?
I'm all right, actually. Touching some wood. So yeah, we're isolating away as everybody else is. So basically, for once in my life, I'm used to hopping on planes and dashing off everywhere and getting used to actually being in one place for what's starting to feel like a very long time. But that's fine. That's fine. I'd much rather this than anything else.
So obviously you're out in Wellington. First of all, there's a lot of people watching this that might not actually know about what goes on in Wellington and what actually happens out there. So why is a lovely British, very well-spoken commentator with fabulous hair out in Wellington in the first place, avoiding our winter?
In all reality, yes, a lot goes on here during the winter. And unfortunately, with what's happened in terms of Olympic Games, a lot was going on in terms of build up to the Olympics this year. For those that aren't aware of the tour in Florida, there's been World Cup dressage, there's been 5-star jumping, there's been the Nations Cup of the USA, there has been eventing, we had an eventing showcase as well. Everything has been covered at some stage or form. And looking around here in the winter, I can tell you, I see just about everybody that's anybody in the equestrian world dropping in for whatever excuse it is to come and spend a few days in the sunshine. But we've had jumping side, Ben Mayer, Martin Fuchs, those sort of riders alongside the Americans, of course, McLean Ward and Beezy Madden all been jumping here. Dressage, they've had Nations Cup, they've had World Cups, there's been the Americans in action. Again, a lot of it was based around building up to Olympic Games, but it's still been hot competition anyway.
And so over here, we will be familiar with the fact that over the last week, shutdown has happened. We are in isolation. We are only allowed to go out for one walk a day. We spoke to, in the last episode, Winnie Murphy, communications officer for the BEF, who has said to stay safe and to try and avoid riding as much as possible. That's the UK. What's going on in the States?
What's going on in the States? Not much different, to be honest. However, being a big country, it is somewhat different in that, bear in mind, the UK is possibly even smaller than the state I'm in, Florida. So we've got areas around here that are in complete lockdown. We are in more of an advisory capacity, but I can tell you, I can look out of my window and I see no one. It's very quiet, which is good because people are adhering to it.
And I'm guessing competition completely cancelled.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a few names there, Ben Mayer, Martin Fuchs, who are not American. Ben is very much one of us. And Martin, again, he will want to get home. Are they there with the horses? Are they taking them home? What's the state of play?
The last conversation I had with, let's take Ben. Ben is here. They've got most of the horses here. They're not moving horses at this precise moment. They may do. Again, I haven't spoken to him in the last week to what's happening, but a lot of people are simply staying put right now. Before we got to a much more stronger lockdown stage, talking to a number of riders, the McLean Wards, the Jesse Springsteens and so forth, they're staying here for the moment. Some of the horses have shipped north, again, because a lot of it was based around the fact the season here was due to run until first week of April, basically finishing on Miami GCT. So a lot of horses weren't due to be booked out until then in terms of transport and everything else. And of course, things have changed in terms of transport and whether people want to ship north or not, because that's much more of a hotbed of what's going on, sadly, than possibly what's around us down here. And the good thing is here, I mean, as much as one of the things that come out of the advisory is be around places that are hot. And I can assure you it's 90 odd degrees here at the moment, and we're not complaining. But it's a lot of sit tight at the moment. And actually, because you spoke to people, we can make light of it, but it is a serious situation on all sides. And for everybody here, their first concern is going to be looking after their horses and their teams that are looking after them.
And before you went on lockdown, when times weren't quite so tight, just before, you did go and catch up with a few riders for us when we kind of knew the games probably wasn't going to happen. But you went and spoke to a couple of greats in our show that's coming up soon on Horse and Country, Path to Greatness. You are the producer as well as presenter. So just tell us about the idea and why you chose those three riders, because they're pretty big names in there.
Well, it was great to be able to catch up with them. We, again, as you say, we were getting towards the end of the season. We saw things that we wanted to grab words with them before things happened. It's been great to be able to get a little bit of insight into how they think. The whole point was to be able to get hold of riders throughout that have been there and done it, whether it's Olympic Games, World Championships, and get in their head a little bit about their preparation for that and how you deal with it. Yes, as you say, the Olympics has gone. It's going to be very interesting to follow that up, if you like, later in the year now and say, okay, you had an extra year. Does this help you? Does it not help you? For some, a lot of people say, well, at the end of the day, the horses are getting a rest. But there's also going to be that balance of horses that this would have been their year. Is 2021 going to be their year? But no, for me, I've been very lucky. McLean Ward, Beezy Madden, Adrian, gold medalist at the World Championship. Beezy and McLean, both double Olympic gold medals, as well as all the other medals that they've got, have given us some good behind-the-scenes insight in the way we were able to do at the time, which was great, and get a little bit into their head and thinking. And hopefully, I think, actually, everyone will be able to take something away from that and think, it doesn't matter whether you're riding in to ride a 2-foot course or a 170 course. We all get nerves. We all get different ways of handling it, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates. But no, they were great that they did it, which is fantastic. And yeah, you don't get to catch up with them very often, so it was quite a privilege.
I said it's very rare that you get the opportunity to chat to riders without the pressure of competition. It's very rare, Stephen Wilde, that I get the chance to chat to you without the pressure of anything.
Exactly.
So come on, you chat to every famous rider in the book, especially in show jumping. I want some gossip, Stephen. Let's face it. I want gossip. I want to know who's your favourite rider, who's your favourite horse. Come on, give me some gossip. Give me something juicy.
Well, I'm going to swing. I won't go favourite, but I would say the ones I admire, if you like. I'll swing towards a couple of the Brits first in Ben Mayer and Scott Brash.
That's because you played golf with Scott Brash.
I have done, yes. But I've played golf with Trevor Breed and a few others as well. We won't comment on the golf. But again, you get to spend time with them as friends and then see them competing as well. So you see the focus that, and again, the planning that someone like Ben has, and you see them when they come under pressure, and then to be able to chat about it afterwards, not always the same day or whatever it is. But you joke about the fact you go and play golf with some of these guys. It's a great way to actually find out what they're really like. And trust me, they're all competitive. It doesn't matter whether you ride in the ring with them or not. But, like I said, McLean I got to interview here. McLean, another one, is high up on my list because his focus and his meticulousness is amazing. But to watch Beezy Madden ride consistently, and you watch her all season here, and it doesn't matter if it's on young horses, on Darry Lou that she won the Grand Prix on last year at Spruce and so forth, and all of those. She just has that beautiful, forward, consistent style. She just, every time, it's almost metronomic in the way it's done. And she's just so self-effacing in the way she does it. She doesn't see how damn good she is, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and as you say, I mean, like I say, that's why it's hard to pick out a favourite, because there's a list that long, and But I don't think what people see, and it's interesting being here probably more than just at a general show, because here in Wellington, there's a different side that you don't see at all the normal sort of European events.
It's like at Hickstead, when if you want to go and see what the riders are really like, go to the cross pole class in the back ring and see the like Guy and everyone running around, and Trevor and Shane with all their tiny humans going around the jumps on the cross pole class.
When my sister was very young, because she's a little bit young, somewhat younger than I am. I remember having to lead her around at David Broom's place in Ring 24 on a lead rein and being shouted at as she's sitting in the saddle behind to go faster, go faster. And around the ring, you're talking about the days of when Dan Skelton and all of us were of that age. So there's Nick, there was Robert Smith and various people all standing around the outside of the ring of this under 10s class as we're all being generally bullied on the end of a lead rope, going, come on, run faster, as we're leading them over fences that big.
Well, now you're showing your age. I think it's time to say goodbye. But I have a feeling that this isolation, sadly, might happen for a few weeks. So if it was all right with you, I might check in with you in a few weeks' time, see how you're surviving. So go find me some gossip. Keep up to date with how the riders are getting on. And if you do get allowed out to see Ben Mayer's horse Explosion, give him a cuddle from me, because I love that horse so much.
He's just down the road. But yeah, sadly, I can't get to go and see him at the moment. But they'll be well looked after. Don't worry.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to see the hair is intact and the tan is going well.
Well, I think you're going to want to catch up in a few weeks to see how long it's got.
You'll turn into a native breed.
Yeah, like you. Unfortunately, yes, hairdressers etc. are closed. So we'll give it another few weeks before we go into panic mode. But in all in all seriousness, everybody stay safe, stay doing what everybody's telling you to do, and hopefully we'll get through this quicker than we hope, and with as many people as healthy as possible.
Perfect. Great words from a great man. Thank you so much, Stephen, for talking to us. And stay safe and good luck with the tan. But and we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Jenny.
So next up on the check-in is a great friend of mine. He is a supergroom for a reason, because he's an absolute legend. And his Wi-Fi connection is not always the most stable, unlike him, like my palsy pun then. It is the wonderful Alan Davies. Alan, are you there somewhere in your flat?
I'm here in lockdown.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the check-in. So people will want to know, firstly, how you're doing. How's the yard? How's the ponies? Because you're all in isolation. Have you got staff? What's going on?
Yeah, it's a really weird situation. We've lost a few of our part-time staff. People that live out, can't get in. So there's the four of us that live here, looking after the horses. We're pretty much business as usual here. Carl and Charlotte's still riding. We're starting to look now at ways of saving money and economising. The horses are going out in the field a lot more, so we can cut down on hay and things like that. So we're sort of looking ahead in case things get tight financially. We've got fantastic owners that are supporting us through these really hard times. Obviously, major disappointment. I was supposed to be going to Las Vegas next week, and then obviously Tokyo. I mean, huge mixed feelings, really. Part of me was very disappointed. The horses have been going fantastic, so looking forward to the year ahead. Delicato and Freestyle have been coming on over the last 2 years, hoping to peak this year, and then to suddenly have that taken away from you as your goal, that was a major blow. But then part of me sort of thinks there's a little bit of relief, because it's the first year now that the pressure's off. The horses can relax a bit, the riders can relax a bit. It's not easy to get Charlotte Dujardin to to relax. She's still coming in and riding and wanted to train and wanted to get better and wanted to teach them new things. Carl, on the other hand, is very relaxed about the whole thing. He just wants to go ride around the fields and put everything in the field and watch them eat in the grass. I'm trying to keep everyone happy, trying to keep all the horses happy, and trying to keep everyone, trying to still stay motivated when we don't really know what's happening. We don't know what's in the future. We don't know when the next shows are going to be. They've just announced that the games are going to next year, so that's going to change everything completely. It's going to change the routine of the horses and how we lead up to the games. We were supposed to be going in a few months' time, and now we're not. So it's a really, really strange situation.
And the BEF have recommended that we limit the riding we do and only do it if we're really necessary to kind of relieve pressure on the NHS and people having accidents. And you said there that Charlotte and Carl are still riding, but I mean, they're obviously doing everything safely. They're not like they're jumping cross-country fences or anything like that. I mean, it's all very calm, the training that goes on at Team Hester.
Oh, absolutely. It's very calm. It's all under, controlled atmosphere. It's a very peaceful yard here. You've been here. People have seen it on TV. It's a very calm, peaceful yard. And the young ones are going out in the field a lot, so they're quite relaxed. So, yeah, we're not running any risks. We're not hacking as much. So, yeah, we're having to be very careful.
So Carl's at home, Charlotte's at home, you're at home. I know you could get a bit twitchy. You like going away to competitions and everything, but I bet Blueberry's kind of Vallegro's all right with it, because he gets a bit jealous when he sees everyone kind of hopping on a lorry and going, doesn't he?
He hates it when I go away. He's blissfully happy at the moment because he's getting masses of attention. He quite often gets quite grumpy when I get back. If I've been away for a long time, I've had to fly abroad with some of the other horses, and I've been away for 10 days, 2 weeks. He won't speak to me for a little while, so I have to tempt him with a bit of bribery, a bit of fat boy hay and a bit of sugar and treats. So he's getting lots of attention. So yeah, it is difficult because I love nothing better than getting on the lorry and going away with one or two horses, so I can just spend all my time on them and really get to know them and give them loads of attention. But then thinking about it, today I was in the cross ties. We're slightly short staffed, so it was really busy today, and I was down in the cross ties. I was grooming and washing and brushing and icing legs, and I was like, do you know what, this is me, this is what I love, this is my whole reason to be, is taking care of horses. So in some ways, it's sad that we're not going to shows and I'm not going to see the horses perform, but in other ways it's great because I'm spending loads of time with the horses. I'm getting to spend loads of time with the young horses and get to know them and nurture them a bit, and the top horses are getting loads of attention. And today Carl even had a ride on Utopia, which was just hysterical. He hasn't ridden him for ages, and they were paffing and passaging, and it was just like old times. And I was like, there's my boy, he's still got it at 19 years old. He was having a blast, he loved it. And I brought him in and I gave him a bath and I trimmed him up, and so yeah, it's a weird old time, but I'm actually in some ways enjoying it, so it's kind of crazy.
And obviously you have just done some filming with me. We've just filmed Alan Davies' masterclass with NAF. And is there any advice you can give anyone who might be struggling to think of things to do with their horses or to keep them safe? Because a lot of people aren't riding. And so are there any tips that you can give anyone, just like grooming tips or any advice for anyone who might be a little bit bored with their ponies because they're not riding? Anything they could do?
Absolutely. There's loads of things you can do. I mean, even like my miniature Shetlands, when I'm actually on lockdown here, but I'm allowed out once a day. So in the evening, I go and see the miniature Shetlands. I take them for a walk. I bring them in and I groom them. I washed all their tails the other day because they've been out all winter and they've been a bit grubby. I find it so rewarding to spend time with them, groom them, brush them, curry comb them. You know, this time of year the coats are changing; they're all itchy, so it's lovely. You know, on a sunny day like today, get all the rugs off, get a curry comb, and really rub them all over. You can give them a good massage. You know, you get into the hindquarters and give them a massage, and they just love it. You know, it's like yourself having a massage. You know, and the horses adore it, and they look to you then, and they enjoy it, and they're pleased to see you, and I just love doing all that sort of stuff. I just love spending time with them, like, you know, as just having a cuddle with the ponies in the field tonight. It sounds crazy when I look after the top dressage horses in the country, but I just adore going to see the ponies. They're my time, and I go there, and their little faces, and they come trotting across the field to me with their manes flying, and they're like, "Hi, Daddy," and I'm like, "Oh God," it's just like joyous. So there's, you know, just spend some time with your horse, and find out what they like and what they don't like, and you can take them for walks. You can, you know, long rein or things like that quite safely. So yeah, it's just there's plenty you can do.
And how many times do you think you've slept outside Vallegro's box?
Oh goodness, I've lost track really. I mean, they worked out when we did his retirement at Olympia that we've travelled over 75,000 kilometres together, which is 1.5 times around the world, and we've competed in about 10 different countries, and I've been with him the whole way through that. So I've slept in planes with him, on trains, in lorries, in stables.
Do you ever feel like not his groom, but his own personal bodyguard?
Well, we were just like mates, really, just hanging out the whole time. But I did have to be his bodyguard at times. There were times when I had to say, "No, I'm sorry." There was a time in Aachen that they had certain times when the press were allowed to come round the stables, and he was we had permanent stables there. They're like permanent barns, and he was in the first stable on the right, and he'd had his lunch and he'd gone to bed. He'd curled up and was having a nap, and all the press came through the stables, and they were desperate for a picture of him. And I was like, "I'm really sorry, but you can't. He's having a nap, and I'm not disturbing him." Trouble. The press all hated me that day. I'm really sorry, but when a boy's got to have a nap, he's got to have a nap.
That's hilarious. I love it. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And just stay safe. These are really strange times, but the horses have got you, so we know they're safe. So keep yourself safe as well.
Oh, thanks, Jenny. Lovely to speak to you, and I hope you're well and the family and everything. And I hope everyone's out there is okay and coping, and just keep enjoying your horses.